Hi, and welcome to Rutland South Rotary Making a Difference. If this is your first show, welcome. This is a show where we talk about what Rutland South Rotary is doing in the community, and we're really glad to see you here. If this is your second show, then we perhaps left you with a teaser as something about, I don't know, winning $10,000. But we're going to get to that in a minute. But first, I want to introduce, I have two guests here today. I have April Kuhl, who is our current president of Rutland South Rotary, and Roger Louiselle, who's been a longtime member of Rutland South Rotary. So what we're going to do is we're going to chat with these two for a little bit, and then we'll get back to how you could win $10,000. So April, why don't you tell us, how did you get involved in Rutland South Rotary?
Well, I actually was working in an office building in town. I had a gentleman who had his own business, who had an office next to me, and he approached me a few times telling me about Rotary, and I finally decided to attend a meeting, and I joined in September of 2007.
Okay.
And it was actually a couple weeks before their annual raffle. And so I was kind of thrown right into working with them to get ready for the raffle, which was a great way to get to know all the members really well.
Awesome. So you joined in 2007, so now we're in 2018.
Yes.
So what has kept you involved in Rotary for so long?
Honestly, I'd have to say that when I joined Rotary, I was told what Rotary was about and the good things that we do. However, I changed jobs. And I felt in changing jobs that I needed to kind of get into a different group of people. So I thought it was an opportune time to join. But over the years, and it didn't take very long, I realized what great things that we do in our community. I really enjoy all the members. They become very good friends. And it actually gave me the outlet that I needed to give back to the community without actually having to find things myself to do. We do it as a club, and we really do pretty amazing things.
Okay, awesome. And Roger?
Yes.
So how did you get involved in Rotary?
In Rotary, I moved to Rutland about 45 years ago, and I used to go out to coffee with a friend every week, and he belonged to the Rutland South Rotary, and he said, well, why don't you join the Rotary? I said, well, I don't think I'll join it, but I'll go there for coffee. So I went with him every week for a year to the Rotary Club meetings before they inducted me into the club. And at that point, most of the members didn't know I wasn't already a member because I had come every week for a year. So that's how I came in from a friend, and I enjoyed it. I still do. I was president from 1981 to 82.
Okay, and so what has kept you involved? Because you're still a really active member in our club, and I think you were just our Rotarian of the year.
Yes, thank you.
Last year, so congratulations. But what has kept you involved in Rutland South?
I think the camaraderie every week. I like to see what all the other members are doing in their own lives and business in general. It's basically business people together. You get a good feel of the community. I like the speakers. We have very interesting speakers every week. The projects, I really like to get involved in projects. We just did the path at the Northwest School. We've done all sorts of projects over the years. We did handicap ramp at the Chaffee Art Gallery. We did a building at Camp Sunrise for the Cub Scouts years ago. We've done a lot of different projects, and we give a lot of money away to a lot of different groups. And that's what kind of gets me going, is we give a lot away to needy projects.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that I told you is that we would get to the how you can win $10,000. And how we do that is every year we hold an annual raffle. So April and Roger are going to share a little bit about that raffle with you and kind of what you can expect when you come to the raffle. So why don't you both share a little bit about the history of the raffle?
So Roger, I'm going to pass this off on you. You've been in much longer than I.
Okay. Our club used to have a fundraiser. We had a horse show. And the horse show went well one year and didn't go well for a couple of years. And our club was trying to think of a new fundraiser that could make a fairly good sum of money that was doable. So I came up with an idea of how about a $100 raffle? We'll raffle off a car, 300 tickets at $100 a piece. Everybody in the club thought, ooh, who's going to buy a $100 ticket? I said, I think Rutland in the community, they support everybody and everything. So we tried it the first year. We gave away a Cadillac. That was back in 1981. We sold all the tickets. It was crowded inside the Pollock Pontiac Cadillac dealership because we got 2 people per ticket, so we had 500-600 people in the showroom of the dealership. And at that time, we had free beverages, and we had people walking around with platters of hors d'oeuvres. And that was the food you had back then, and it went really well. The second year we did it, we tried something else. We went to the Saab dealership, and we gave away a Saab. And we did the same thing, but this time we rented a big, like a circus tent, and had it outside. You could either be in the dealership or outside, and that went very well. A lot more room. We had a lot more food because we didn't really have a clue what we were doing when we first started. It was all trial and error. So every year since, the raffle's gotten much better because we learn from our mistakes. People say, you should have this, you should do that. Could you have this kind of food, that type of drink? So we, every year, tweak it a little bit. Our decorations have gotten better. In general, I think the raffle itself has gotten much better over the years.
Okay.
And now it's really a community event. We sell 675 tickets. 2 people per ticket can get into the event. That's a lot of people. To me, it's like a homecoming. You see people you haven't seen there for a year or years. A lot of friendships there. It's a fun time, a really fun time.
Okay, what would you say is your best memory of the raffle?
Well, it was I would have to say maybe it goes back 5 years or so, where we started printing out checks that we actually place up on the wall in the arena. So when you first walk into the arena, to your right, you're going to see a whole, there's a sign that says, what do we do for your community? And you're going to see a whole wall of checks. And the checks are all made out to the different organizations that we've given money to over the years. And honestly, when you walk in there, even as a Rotarian at the end of the day, when it's all decorated and ready for the crowd to come in, you just feel really great in knowing that you were part of giving that money to people and people in need. Okay. And I have to also say that a few years ago it fell on September 11th, and we decorated patriotically, and we were a little worried about that day in the respect of it's not really a celebratory day. But we respectfully had the raffle, and we had a gentleman sing the national anthem. And I do have to say that I've never heard it be so quiet in an arena. And it really spoke to who we are as a country and a community. And I think that one was really a great memory for me. It gave me goosebumps.
Roger?
I think the excitement that night with the people coming in and having such a good time, that inspires me. We like to make the money, and that's why we do it. But everybody that goes has a great time. To me, it's about having a good time, making money for a good cause. That's what I like about the raffle.
Okay. And I know, like, I help prepare food every year, and I'll be down at the catering and making sandwiches and stuff like that. And I hear stories about how Rotarians used to make the food instead of doing it in a kitchen. Is that true?
Okay. We, as I said, in the first few years, we had hors d'oeuvres. It was California fruit for the people that have been around here for a long time. Mike Henry used to make the hors d'oeuvres. Then we started getting into more food items, and it was getting expensive. So there were a few people in our club that were associated with food services, and they said, well, we can do it ourselves. So we decided that we could do it. We made a list of the food we needed. We went out and purchased all the food. We prepared all the food every year and put it out. But boy, that takes a long time to do it. So eventually we went back to having somebody else do it because it takes so much time and effort to set up the venue for the raffle. We didn't have as much time to do as good a job as we had hoped on the food.
Okay, yeah, so definitely we do have the event catered, but Rotarians are behind the scenes and they're putting all of that food together and making sure it looks really awesome. What can people expect? Like when they have a ticket and they come to the event and they walk through the door, I mean, you talked a little bit about it, but what can they expect for the night, especially those first-time ticket holders?
It's going to be a party. It's when they walk in, they see definitely a decorated arena. It's very patriotic, lots of people, lots of excitement, great food, great drink. They're going to see a lot of people that are in the community. So it's going to be, oh, I haven't seen you for years. You're going to see a lot of people that you know because we have a great community presence. And then, you know, again, the excitement of being able to win some prizes because we give a lot away that night.
Okay.
Well, they'll see me first thing when they walk up, collecting food for the food shelf.
Okay.
We do have another separate raffle. We collect food for the Rutland Community Food Shelf. For every can or box or item of food you bring, I give you a ticket which goes into a raffle for one of 4 gift certificates at a local restaurant. So that you can start off gambling right away, and the people in line love to even purchase tickets. If they forget to bring the food items, I will sell them tickets, and they'll purchase tickets. And that does very well. In the past, we've given thousands of food items plus thousands of dollars to the local food cupboard. So that's been really good.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the prizes? So like I said before, there is the chance, like when you buy a ticket, there is someone who is going to be the grand prize winner. And that grand prize winner can win what?
They can win this year $10,000. And we have a second prize of $2,000, third prize of $500, and $7,500 prizes. So you have a pretty good chance of winning something. Along with that, we have usually 70 or 80 door prizes, nice door prizes from local companies around here, stores, and you have a chance of winning not only money, but prizes.
Awesome. So just to clarify, you don't have to be present to win the cash, although we would love for you to be there. To win the door prizes, you do have to be there. So you just have to be there for that piece. But otherwise, you don't have to be there. So if you know you're going to be out of town the date that we're having the raffle, you definitely should still get a ticket because you could still win some of the cash prizes. So then that leads me to, once we've talked about the cash prizes, what do we do with all this money that we get? I know the raffle costs money, so we have to pay for that. But April, what do we do with the leftover?
So after we've paid all our bills, we do have our pot for the year that we work out of. So our raffle is our annual fundraiser, and it really is the only fundraiser that we have. And for good reason. It's a lot of work. We work on it all year long. But the money that we do collect for that, we give out to organizations in the community. Different clubs raise money for different reasons. Rutland South is really focused on the youth in our community. So we give money to the Boys and Girls Club, Vermont Boys and Girl Scouts, Rutland Free Library, Mentor Connector. We adopt a family every year at Christmas time. We do a dictionary project in our club for local school third graders every year. We go into the schools and give a dictionary to all the third graders. So we do so many community donations and it's really kind of centered around the youth, or where there's a youth involved.
Okay. And I think previously, so I've been a Rotarian for 4 years, so I've kind of got half and half. Previously, we used to do scholarships, but I think and you can talk about this more, but we really wanted to have a greater impact and make a larger difference in the Rutland community. So we kind of transitioned away from that, not kind of, we actually did transition away from that. And so now, what are we doing?
Okay, so we're doing a grant program now. And grant, we weren't even sure if we wanted to use that word, because when anybody hears a grant, they think there's mounds of paperwork that need to be done in order to get anything through. But this is different. Our grant program is basically a one-page application that anybody can get access to by just simply going to our webpage. And they complete that for a specific need that they may have that they would like money for. So originally, when we did our scholarships program, we were giving away $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 scholarships to students in area schools. We would go in, we would interview them, we would meet them, and we would decide which one was the best candidate. Community service was a huge part of that interviewing process. We wanted to see that they were doing community service. In looking at that, we've looked at it for many years, but over the last couple of years, we realized we're only really helping about 13 students. And although those students did get help and maybe money to buy books or housing or whatever else, we really didn't feel like our money was getting the best, as you want to say, bang for the buck. So we discussed moving to this grant program where we still have the same pool of money, which is about $18,000, that we are able to disperse out to organizations that send in a request. We review it. We have a grant committee. They decide, what they want to give to that organization. So in just the last year that we did the grant, because it was our first year, we helped over thousands of children just with the first grant program versus just the 13. And the reason is because what we gave was like the Rutland Parent Child Center, for example. We gave them some funds, which helps children daily. And it will be repetitive as well. So for years to come, what we were able to give them, they can use in future years. We gave books to some of the schools that will again be used every single year. So we felt so good about how the grant program worked this year. It's that we are able to help more children than just the 13.
Okay. Do you want to add anything to that, Roger?
Well, another thing that we do also, we do some international projects. Mm-hmm. We do Pure Water for the World, which we give potable water to several different countries. We do shelter boxes. A lot of times you'll see these horrific earthquakes or storms in other countries. They drop in these huge boxes with tents, cooking utensils. Everything for a family of 8 is in one of those boxes. So we do things like that also. We don't just do local. We also give to the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation gives worldwide to all sorts of different causes. And what I like about the Rotary Foundation is if we give money this year, say we give $1,000, 3 years from now, $1,000 comes out and goes back in. The Rotary Foundation only works on the interest of the money. They don't take any money to run the program. So every dollar in is every dollar out.
Okay, all right. And so with the raffle, and now we talked about the grants program, and I think we kind of already answered this question encompassing the whole show, but when I was talking with one of my team members at where I work, they had watched our first show, and they said, I was really confused about that, like I didn't know there were 2 Rotary clubs in Rutland. And so it's a little off script, but what differentiates Rutland South Rotary from Rutland City Club? Because we all fall under the umbrella of Rotary, but we're very unique, I think, in what our clubs offer and what they do. But what would you say differentiates us?
Well, like you said, we're all under the umbrella of Rotary International, which is service above self, and we all are under that motto. I think the biggest thing that separates us and makes us different is the timing that we meet. So Rutland City meets at noon on Monday, so they have a lunch meeting, and Rutland South meets on Thursday morning at 7:30 for a breakfast meeting. So you're getting business people, and you're giving them the opportunity to pick what is the best time for them to be able to attend a meeting to fit their schedule. I can't say enough about Rotary. I really can, and I love the ability to be able to pick whichever club. I think that when we raise our money, we use it slightly differently. As I said, Rutland South focuses on the youth in the community, but we also give to the mission, and we give to Salvation Army, and we have done some work in Pine Hill Park. So all of these things eventually do affect our youth in the community. But Rutland City's mission of their money may be a little different. So I just encourage everyone to reach out to a Rotarian and go to a meeting and see if it's something that they would like to do. I think I'll always be a Rotarian. It just really satisfies that desire in me to be able to give back to the community, and it really makes it so easy to do that.
And Roger, what do you think?
Well, I do like the Rotary. It gives me an outlet to give back to the community. I needed some way to do it early in the years that I've been here in Rutland, and I think the Rotary has done a good job of inspiring me to help the community, and I think it's a very good organization. And as April said, if anybody would like to join our club or see what it's about, we do meet 7:30 Thursday mornings at the Elks Club. We have a sign out by the road so they won't make a mistake where we are. It'd be nice if people could stop by and just see what we are on Thursday mornings.
Awesome. So I mean, I'll share my story as well, and how I got involved in Rotary. And I grew up in Rutland, so I'm a native, but my ultimate goal in life was to get out, was to leave Rutland. That was but things didn't work out that way. And I ended up having our family and living here. And I wanted to find the joy again, to find the joy of the city, because you have conflicting opinions on what's happening in Rutland, whether it's positive or whether it's a negative point of view. And I really wanted to transition over to the positive. So I did got an invitation. I was talking about it with a friend to come I went to the City Club first, and then I came to Rutland South. And what I loved about Rutland South, again, Rotary in general is amazing, but what I loved about Rutland South was the feeling of belonging, and walking in and feeling like, even though you're a complete stranger walking into this meeting, that we have a greeter at the door most weeks saying hello to you. When you're new, you don't know that they're supposed to be there, but you're like, wow, that person just said hi to me, and they don't even know who I am. And going through and grabbing breakfast, and everyone notices that you're someone different, but they're not like, oh, that's somebody different. They're like, welcome to our club, and welcome to being in our club. And that was the biggest difference for me, just in the presentation of the different clubs. So I never went back to check the other one. I came back again and again, and the biggest benefit that I've gotten from it is the camaraderie and the friendships in it, but I love hearing more about what's actually happening in our city, like with the speakers, like you mentioned, Roger, having speakers come on a weekly basis. Like, I didn't know the things that Rutland City had positive going for it, what we had going on here, because not all of those things show up in the headlines of the newspaper. They don't show up in the headlines on the news. They're just kind of silently working behind. And unless you're involved, you don't see those things, and you only see the negative that's being thrown at you in the news and stuff. So that's kind of sometimes where I think Rutland gets a bad rap, but that's a different show. But that's why I love Rotary and being a part of it. And how I came to is I was just seeking something positive in my life of where I could give back, but without searching out and going to random locations to be like, can I help? Can I help? But I loved it. So I definitely encourage anyone who is wanting to become more involved in the Rutland community, to check out one of our meetings. And if you ask a Rotarian nicely, I bet that they will pay for your breakfast as well. So if you want to stop by, definitely do that. One thing we didn't mention though is how can they get a ticket to the event. So I know, again, my coworker, she's from Brazil, and she was saying how in her area, Rutland Rotary is like this exclusive thing, this exclusive club. So how can we get some of these exclusive tickets?
So really all they need to do is reach out to a Rotarian. They can go to our Facebook page, they can see an address there, they can send a message through there. We also have a phone number that we're going to list as well. I think, you know, for the enjoyment of the evening, it's great to buy a ticket, but it can also give them the satisfaction of knowing that the money that they're paying for that ticket is funding things in the community. So every single person that comes to our raffle is actually already giving back to the community. So just reach out to one of us. We have tickets. We would love to have you come to our event.
Awesome. Roger, any closing
You won't
remarks?
regret coming to the raffle. You'll have a great time.
Awesome. So any other closing remarks or anything that you would want to say about the raffle?
We hope to see you there.
Absolutely. So I hope that answers some of your questions about what the raffle is, how you can possibly win $10,000. And what we're going to do is our next quarterly show, we're going to talk about more in specific the grants program, and we'll bring you a couple of people who have been recipients of the funds from that, so you can again see how your funds are giving back into the community. But thank you for watching, and have an awesome day.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.